Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about some NFL or some NBA. I already done the NFL news episode. If you haven't watched that, go watch that. Watch my Royal Rumble full show review. I gave my thoughts on the pay-per-view from last time. Watch all my recaps. Yesterday for the college basketball recap, 5 games. I was going to recap the other two and some NBA, but I was like, hell with it. Let's get to the NBA, the news. So, report NBA executives are monitoring or pretty much watching Chris Paul's situation in Phoenix. Some NBA executives around the league are watching his situation. So, the Chris Paul and Phoenix Suns have had a disappointing 2022-23 campaign so far, especially given they had title aspirations coming into the season. While the organization, it's unlikely to trade away the veteran point guard, other executives are reportedly monitoring the situation. See, Paul has worn out his welcome in Phoenix. So, Matt Moore of Action Network said again, zero known interest from the Suns in trading CP3, but other executives are keeping a side eye on that situation. In the event that Phoenix with new ownership, reportedly set to be in place soon, decides to focus on sustaining a core around Devin Booker, wrote Matt Moore of Action Network. So, in Paul's first 2 seasons, they experienced 2 of the most successful campaigns in many years, but yet failed to win an NBA championship. And I felt this is the start of Chris Paul. He's going to leave Phoenix soon. I know he helped that organization make the playoffs last few years, but 2021 couldn't overcome Milwaukee. Fell in 6 games. And they set the franchise record last year of 64 wins. Was eliminated in the Western Conference semis by Dallas. I don't know. I think you build around Devin Booker. Much younger, better player, averaging 27, 4, and 5. 47 from the field, 37 from 3. At this point, you just build around Devin Booker. Chris Paul's getting old. He's not as explosive, not as much as a scorer as he used to be, and Booker's a much more explosive, better scorer at this point in his career. That's just my thoughts on it. Teams continue to call the Miami Heat to gauge Kyle Lowry's trade interest. So, available for literally anybody else. Like, a second round pick should be good enough, because I don't think you're going to get a first for Kyle Lowry. He's available for trade. Finally, he's available. I'd trade him. If I'm a Heat fan, I'd trade him for absolutely anything at this point. Because he's not that good of a player anymore. He's washed. Every team watching, he's available. If I'm a Heat fan. He's so bad. No one wants this fraud. You just trade him. Tyler Hero needs to earn his money and play the point guard position anyways. That's just my opinion, though. Steven Jackson says LeBron James is not a top 5 player in the NBA. Right now in the league, he is not the top 5 best player in the league right now. Via I Am the Athlete Pod. I don't know. I don't know if this is bold, because I'd say Giannis, Jokic, KD, Luka, Embiid, you have Curry still. Those are some names I could list, like Giannis, Jokic, KD, Luka, Embiid, Steph. Obviously there. But there's nothing wrong with this statement. I know he's played really well this year. It's probably one of his best years. But Steven Jackson, though, saying this. He's having a career year. Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Durant, Curry, you could all say are better. And I would say Curry's better. Just in my opinion. The Charlotte Hornets are making Mason Plumlee available for a first round pick per HP Basketball. Matt Moore. I feel like a lot of people will say, oh, this is too much for Mason Plumlee, but it seems like a lot of people are don't realize he's averaging 12, 10, and 4 on 67% shooting. He's having a really good year, really underrated year that people aren't paying attention to. And parents say, oh, he's not worth it all. The way he's playing, some team needs a center that will get the ball up because he averages 4 assists a game. But a first-round pick, I guess, could be considered too much. I get that. But I feel like the Gobert trade room in the market, as I've been saying with all these trades, like trading all these picks. But I don't think anybody's going to trade a first-round pick, though, for Mason Plumlee. Kawhi Leonard's made it clear to the Clippers front office that he'd welcome a point guard, and it's no surprise that 2 of his former teammates on his championship Raptors team, Lowry and Van Vliet, are on their short list of targets, per Matt Moore. So he just left the Raptors just to want some of his former teammates back. I don't know. Lowry's kind of washed at this point. I don't think he'd want Kyle Lowry because I think he's washed. I don't think he's that good anymore. Well, Van Vliet would be a good pickup, though, because he's been playing a lot better basketball for the Raptors these past few games. I would rather him over Lowry. So, report the NBA reached out to the Lakers immediately after the game to inform them that LeBron James was fouled by Jason Tatum late in that game last night where he drove to the rim in overtime, was hit in the arm, but no call. That's like the third or fourth missed call late in the game that the refs have missed in the Lakers game. It was immediately in the last 2-minute report that he was fouled, but the Lakers, who cares about the last minute report? Like, that just pisses even more people off. The NBA is just trash. Like, the refs are just trash. There's been like 2 or 3 calls that have went through the Lakers, not went the Lakers' way. The refs need to be held accountable. I don't know how this happens. And like, what good does this do to inform them that he was fouled? He knew he was fouled. Everybody watching knew he was fouled, but nothing. LeBron's last 8 games have been phenomenal. He's had 3 40-point performances, like 3 30-plus point performances. He's been putting up monster numbers over his last 8 games. Just such an up and down season it's been. He's playing at such an unbelievable level. Eastern Conference GM pegs OG Anunoby as the best available player at the trade deadline. He does what to OG Anunoby? Peg? Oh. Apparently, is even that good. The offense is secondary, defense is his best trait, but he's really good. He's been slumping, but it's the defense. Also, Siakam and Scotty aren't that similar to OG. Leak sources say that OG Anunoby isn't happy in Toronto. Take this with a grain of salt. This is a report by Rick Bucker, how do you say his fucking name? But take this with a grain of salt, but I don't think he is happy in Toronto. I really believe he's not happy in Toronto. But none of these sources are even reliable. It's Rick Bucher. But I can see him not being happy in Toronto. Fred Van Vliet wants a deal comparable to the 4-year, $131 million Tyler Hero signed with Miami Heat, also by Rick Bucher. Fred's turning 29 shortly, while Hero just turned 23. And these players thinking they're worth more than what they are. Like, he's nearly 30. Hero's 23 years old, and he's not getting $130 million. He's closer to being out of the league than getting $130 million. I'm just saying. No way. The NBA refutes the notion that Jaren Jackson Jr. is benefiting from improper scorekeeping per Bleacher Report. The person that started this was a Reddit user. Because some dude on Reddit thought he was some sort of detective. But I felt the NBA is trying to cover up a conspiracy as well. But they let a random Reddit user do this. That's crazy. Let's find some more news here. Minnesota Timberwolves checked in on John Wall prior to the 2022-23 season. So they did check in on him. But I don't know. I don't think it. He had a bit for, but I don't know. I just don't know if he's just. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this info. The MVP later, I'm going over some of the news from 2 days ago that I didn't get to cover in the other one because my video's nearly towards the 15-minute mark. I couldn't cover all this. But the MVP later, Jokic, Embiid, Tatum, Antetokounmpo, Doncic, Durant, Harden, Sabonis, and Randall is your updated MVP ladder. So Jokic has been like at number 1 the last few weeks. Definitely deserves it. Ayo DeSumo is generating some trade interest. The Pistons and Hornets are 2 teams with interest. That would be a bad move on the Bulls on their part. I would try and keep him. He's the only saving grace they have this season, so I don't get why they would try and trade him. Houston has trade interest in Miles Turner and John Collins, but obviously Miles Turner just got that big contract extension, so John Collins is the only reliable option. But the Rockets have no interest in these type of players. Their GM's trying to increase their trade value. There's been, okay, talked about that. Fred VanVleet is expected to sign with Clutch Sports, so here we go. People are going to start putting him on the Lakers. Dallas Mavericks interested in Kyle Kuzma, so they're interested in Mr. Kuz. He just trashed their entire team on the timeline a few days ago, so why would they try and get him? NBA executives suggest a package headlined by Draymond Green and Toronto Jonathan Kuminga to Toronto for Pascal Siakam. That'd be a bad trade, in my opinion. Draymond is too valuable to the Warriors system, and why would you trade a young player in Jonathan Kuminga, who has potential and has been balling out this year, for him? Like, NBA executives believe that Miami Heat may not be willing to part Caleb Martin for Cam Reddish, which, that's fair because Caleb Martin's been balling this year. Caleb's time is better, and the Heat are contending, so that's just my thoughts. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out for tomorrow's game in Brooklyn, part of the Lakers. So LeBron and AD are out. So the Pacers and Miles Turner agreed on a $60 million contract extension. So the 17.1 relegation, largest in NBA history, is on top of Turner's $18 million annual salary this season, gives him an annual average of $30 million plus through 2024-2025. They secured Turner as a part of their core build around him and guard Tyrese Halliburton. So 2-year, $60 million contract, definitely deserves it. So I think he deserves it. People say, like, oh, he's going to get traded to the Lakers, so many trade rumors, and then he signs his contract, but that's funny. No, Miles Turner's to the Lakers. Yeah, it's all for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, have a lot. Peace.